Hey there, Tilray and Ayr traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. It is Thursday, March 6th. Hope you're doing fantastic. In this video, getting a lot of questions about whether or not Tilray is going to acquire Ayr. We know that Stephen Cohen is now a board member on the Tilray board and the interim CEO at Ayr Wellness. And they just reported their earnings today. It was abysmal. I posted a video on it earlier. And a lot of people are wondering, and I'm getting this question a lot, could Tilray potentially acquire Ayr because of the low valuation? Things are looking pretty bleak at the moment. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on this and curious to hear what everybody else thinks as well. Before we get to it, though, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. And full disclosure, I do own Tilray. I don't own Ayr stock, though. Just being fully transparent. Follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So I released earlier today a video recapping the Q4 2024 earnings for Ayr. They did disappoint. Stock was down over 20%. We'll take a look at that. There's a weekly bear flag targeting 16 cents USD. And the company not looking too hot here in the future. If you want to see that, watch that video if you want to see my full thoughts and opinions on that. I also posted this video on Tilray. I said is 87 cents USD the bottom. This was back on February 18th. So multiple weeks now. I said in this video, the descending triangle that had the 87 cent USD target, I said, is that going to be the bottom? And I mentioned in this video that I didn't believe so. I think 50 to 75 cents to 50 cents was very possible. And we've already lost 75 cents. And there's a bearish continuation pattern on the Tilray chart at the moment that could signal a drop down to around that 50 cent area. I know it's brutal. Unfortunately, I'm just relaying what the message of the charts are saying. I'm not coming on here giving my thoughts and opinions just because I think it or I want it to happen. I'm looking at the charts, reading the data, going over the the support and resistance and what the charts are saying, and trying to give my honest and unbiased opinion on where the price action is going, right? But obviously not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. And again, this is not financial advice, but as you can see here, if you go to the investor relations page on Tilray.com, board member Steve Cohen, you can see he's the interim CEO at Ayr Wellness. And again, they haven't even found a permanent CEO yet. Like I said, there's a lot that's creating a lot of uncertainty with the company, its ability to operate as a going concern. Their debt is mounting, their revenue is not seeing any growth, and there's going to be a lot of competition and price compression. So just not a great recipe for success here. But this is what sparked a lot of speculation that maybe we could see Tilray acquire Ayr. I don't think that just because Steve Cohen is on the board of directors at Tilray I don't think that means that we should jump to conclusions that they're going to acquire Ayr. And he is just that, the interim CEO. So he might not even be CEO at Ayr Wellness for very long, which again, I don't really think this means that Tilray is going to acquire Ayr. Could they? Potentially. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. And the reason why I mention that is because in order for it to happen, we would have to see federal law change. Because if Tilray were to acquire Ayr, maybe it's something similar to, maybe it could be structured similar to how Canopy did with Acreage. Once certain conditions are met, or they create a special purpose vehicle under a different holdings company like a Tilray USA or something like that. Maybe that's possible. But given the current structure and legality, this wouldn't be just possible for them to outright buy or acquire Ayr, because that would not leave them in compliance with the NASDAQ. They would have to forfeit their NASDAQ listing. So any kind of U.S. major exchange like the NYSE or the NASDAQ, you can't have operations in the U.S. and be listed on those U.S. major exchanges, right? So Tilray would have to forfeit that NASDAQ listing. I can't see that happening. But, there could be some sort of deal structured where, similar to the Acreage and Canopy deal, that's possible. And, with the company now valued at 26.36 million market capitalization. That is very, very low. By no means am I saying that Tilray isn't low as well, but we're sitting at just north of 633 million market cap for Tilray. It's very possible that they could potentially acquire Ayr Wellness. They just had more dilution And they've been saying for a while now that there could be more strategic acquisitions, that type of thing. And there's still a lot of consolidation needed in this space. So we'll see what happens. Curious to hear what everybody else thinks, though. Do you think that Stephen Cohen, the acting CEO, interim CEO, do you think that him being on the board of directors at Tilray gives us some further proof, I guess? Do you think you're confident that this could be proof that there could be a deal in the mix or at some point in the future? Personally, I'm not sold on that, but yeah, it's hard to say. No one has a crystal ball, but I personally don't think that just because he's on the board that we should automatically assume that. So if it happens in the future, I think it'd probably be a couple of years out. I'd gladly be wrong on that. They also have the IP for MedMen as well, and they're operating in the U.S. under their hemp division through the Happy Flower and a few other brands. So it's not like Tilray isn't already in the U.S., but they may even wait a little bit longer for some of these companies to, kind of. It's hard to say, right? With all the mounting debt and competition, price compression, and everything in the market, maybe they would want to just wait until they go through, different types of bankruptcy filings and try to get the assets in a stalking horse bid, but even more cheaper than they already are. So a lot remains to be seen, but curious to hear what everybody else has to think. Again, I don't think that this is, a deal is imminent or anything like that. I think it'd be more than likely a long ways out. And once federally permissible, then maybe that would increase the odds, but we'll see what happens. Whether or not, Florida gets adult use on the ballot for 2026. In any case, it's going to be a rough road ahead, in my opinion, for AYR. We also had news that the federal MJ legalization proposal is to be submitted by the end of the week as U.S. stocks rise. So a proposal for federal legalization of MJ is now expected to be submitted to the White House by the end of the week, driving a bump in U.S. MJ stocks. So according to MJ Moment, drug policy expert and co-founder of Law Enforcement Action Partnership, Howard Wooldridge, a Trump administration representative, indicated they would welcome a proposal on MJ reform. And during a weekly meeting of Americans for Tax Reform, a group of conservative activists last week, Wooldridge said he was given some one-on-one time with the representative to discuss his plans to advise the administration to legalize MJ at the federal level. So again, we're still very preliminary here, but what is not preliminary and in pretty much everybody's second word out of their mouth and vocabulary, it's crypto and AI. What have I been saying on this channel for a while now? It's probably going to take big tech, crypto, and AI to top out before we start to see rotation into MJ stocks. And now we're starting to slowly see things start to come to fruition here, and MJ kind of getting a little bit of the spotlight. But again, over the next few months, I think big tech, crypto, AI is going to top out. And then I think we should see MJ to go on to be one of the, if not the best performing, one of the best performing sectors in the years ahead. But yeah, all signs are pointing to that. And also Canada is expected to introduce a raft of new changes to MJ regulations. They didn't mention anything about excise taxes, so don't get too excited. But I don't think it'll be too long before that happens. Pierre Poilievre has been very, pro-business, pro-common sense, and anti-tax. So we'll see if that can change some things. He wasn't in favor of legalization in 2018, but things change, and we're almost 7 years legal here in Canada. So I think something has to give, but a lot of it has to do with, cultivators and nurseries, things like that, how things are packaged, labels and leaflets and things like that inside of the containers. But essentially, consumers might be able to see the product in transparent packaging before buying it for the first time ever. So if you haven't seen that, you can check it out. But great to see that the government's finally starting to wake up here. In terms of the Tilray chart, we do have a bearish continuation pattern, and we have a similar one on AYR. AYR has a weekly bear flag targeting 16 cents USD, and Tilray could potentially see another daily bear flag, yet another one on the daily time frame, and that would take us to around 49 cents. But as you can see, AYR had a huge miss and a loss for the quarter. They did slightly beat in terms of earnings, but again, it was actually negative growth compared to this time last year in the same quarter. That's not what you want to see. And mounting losses, mounting debt, and stagnant, if not, they're seeing negative growth. That is not what you want to see, especially ahead of fierce competition and price compression in the U.S. So it's going to be a rough road ahead for AYR, but as you can see, we confirmed the weekly bear flag, and if you take the measured move there from the high to the low, move it out to your 0.382 fib, it's saying 16 cents. And then same thing with Tilray. The only difference is here on the daily time frame, versus the weekly time frame, and Tilray has yet to confirm the daily bear flag. So in order to confirm it, we need to lose the all-time low there at 64 cents. If we do, you just take your measured move there from the high to the low, move it out to your 0.32 fib, and it's saying 49 cents. So again, back in this video, I mentioned this probably wasn't going to be the bottom. I think 75 cents to 50 cents made a lot of sense because the sector was still weak. There was no mentioning of MJ by the new administration. It's just falling by the wayside. It's not popular right now. A lot of names had weekly bear flags, including MSOS and AYR, right, would be basically encompassed within that. So as you can see, Tilray, there was also a bear flag on CGC, and then CGC announced a 200 million dilution at the market program. So again, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. And all of this happened, right? And that's basically my thesis as to why I didn't expect that to be the bottom. But again, key support's going to be 64 cents. Lose that, then the target's 49 cents. And in order to negate this bear flag, we need to get above 79 cents stat, the 0.32 fib there. So going into there, Tilray still very bearish here on the weekly indicators and macros. We did have a stochastic bull cross, so we're bullish out of one out of the 2-3 major ones, but we still have to see a MACD bull cross, still well below the 10-week moving average, still well below all of our weekly and daily moving averages as well. Probably going to be at least 2 to 3 weeks before we see a golden cross, but we'll see what can happen from this legalization proposal at the federal level, if that can gain any momentum. I think we're at least a few months away before we hit a bottom on MJ. If not, we could potentially just go sideways. But again, I'm still fully expecting crypto and AI to continue to be at the forefront and the major focal point. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section below. We'll continue the conversation there. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. And do you think that Tilray could acquire AYR in the future? All right, have a great night, and we'll see you again on the next one.